All right, howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. All right, let's get started here. We got a lot to go. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for taking a minute out of your precious day to be with this precious family. As we already experiencing some delays here. Please, Lord, can we have this show going here? Come on. All right, here we go. Finally. So here we are, April 30th, 2024. And we'll let this load up here. It's been lagging for some reason here, so we might have to wait a second while this loads up and gives a chance for everybody to say hi to each other. And there we go. There's a full halo CME right there. Which looks to be coming our way. And why is this thing taking so long to load? Well, as you can see, we're experiencing a little slowness tonight, so thank you for your patience and your tolerance and your acceptance. And we're already practicing our spiritual stuff here at the beginning of the show. So, as you can see, we got a nice blast coming off the top here. Eventually, we'll get there. And we've had a couple of good blasts today. Oh, keep going. There we go. So first this one down below with our full halo CME, then this long duration one. Do you see that stripe come in there too, kind of pointing at it? That streak go in there, bing. All right, so let that loop play for a second. Let your trained eye look at that for a minute before I start pointing stuff out. Okay, not a lot to cover, but let's get into it here. Catch the beginning frames here. All right, so opening frame, we still have this thing casting the shadow here, splitting up the these spires that are coming out right here. Our event going on right there with the instrument reacting to it already. So let's just scroll down here a little bit. So as this continues on out, then out of that spire region, here's our little thing dropping in too. Out of that spire region, though, comes this object, and it's moving pretty quick because from 236, it goes past this little shadow thing. Boom, 324 there. There's our full halo reading, at least. This is a glitch screen, but we did get a full halo reading on this image right here, okay? So, let's go, excuse me. Zoom in on this right down here. You can see we have a little object right here. This whole thing could be one big object, but I think we have like a central object right about here. There's another little secondary, a black one there. So that could be what's taking up all this, this magnetic space. This could be a couple of small ones in a little pack right here. Okay, you can kind of see that little 3-pack there, or whatever it was, maybe a few of them there, moving on out of frame there. All right, so there was that one. Let me pull back a little bit. Get into the next image. Okay, you see our little spire up here. It's not necessarily coming right out of the spire, but it's right next to it. See how this is partly involved in it? So we're going to continue out. And we got little ones sneaking around over here. Our main event going on up here. Appears maybe one here or right here. So that one's a little faint. And that was all the Oops, that wasn't all the data. We have a jump in data there because that was occurring at 11:24, and then it totally disappears, and we jump to 16:24. So we're missing a good 5 hours of data there. And then we have that frame where this streak comes in and literally points right at this spire right here. It could be streaking away or coming towards it, or it's up to you. You can be the judge of that. But funny how it's just pointing right at that region right there, right where we had our event coming out of there, that we're missing 5 hours of data from. All right, so just kind of bounce through this one more time. Boom, we have this event. It blossoms, gets nice and mature, and then bingo, disappears. That's because 5 hours worth of data is missing there. All right, so let's get on over here to the solar ham. And you can see right here on the cusp of the date line, we just had an M97 or 95. I saw a 97. But still, very close to an X flare. Okay, so remember when I was telling you our X flare potential was still high? Well, we almost had one. That's dang close. 9.5. Geez, only another 0.5 more, and it would have been an X flare. All right, meanwhile, let me just zoom in a little bit closer here so you guys can get a good shot of the graph. Whoops, not all that far. Right there. Okay, you can see our first event that we looked at that was, exiting the screen. That event, then our 3-pack or whatever caused this, and now right at the tail end we're having this event right there. And let's go see if we can capture what that could possibly be. Here we are, May 1st, 2024. Maybe these two. One of these two. Yeah, we only have 5 frames of data, so it's probably maybe this one. All right, anyways, there we go. Almost an X flare, an M9.5 right there, okay? So, quite a good shot we took right there. And I was telling you, we had the potential for X flares, and I wasn't just making that up. That was because of the beta gamma delta region that we had, okay? So, there it is, right on the cusp of the change of the day. And as it tapers off, you can see we're going into another one right there. So, otherwise, our indices are still pretty mild. They're expecting a little magnetic storm on the 1st here now, okay? M flare potential of 55, that should be a little higher because we just had one. X flare potential, I would say, should be right about there, 10% still, until we get rid of this one. All right, so our flares for today were an M2.5, a 3.7, and then the big M9.5. All right, there's it's beta delta now, so that's better than beta gamma delta. It's kind of losing its strength, so that's good. As you can see over here in our KP real quick before we get into that article, we were cruising down here, hardly anything, and now all of a sudden we're absorbing more energy, okay? And KP 4.5 are right there, okay? We're getting a little bit of space weather hitting us, okay? Here at the auroras, just really quick, you can see they're very light at the moment, very mild, very light, so that's good. All right, let's get into this. AR 3654 approaching the west limb produced an M9.5 flare, peaking at 2346. A further update will be provided should any sort of CME be associated. Eruptions at this point will likely be directly mostly away from Earth. Okay, If it came out of that region, it is going to be directed the CME. Most of it will get clipped, if anything, just by the edge of it, if anything. All right, here's our D region layer. I already got that pulled up over here, possibly. Lord, can we have it? Thank you. And let me just, whoops. Oh, it has to reload again. Give it 1 sec to reload here real quick. Let's see who all's here. Eric's here. Diane. Where's Gabe? He's hiding in the background somewhere. All right, boom. There was your little flare right there. Okay, let me pause that. All right, so we did get hit with some energy. We did absorb some energy just from the flare. All right, it's not a lot. It was a pretty short duration one. As you can see, it kind of fades pretty quick there. All right, but that was our strike that we got today. All right, and there's that little spot. Secondary and somewhat. No, that's yesterday. Let's come over here to the tracker and see what they're track-a-lacking. Or if they're lacking tracking. It looks like, well, they got this they got this going off this direction. Okay. And you can see it's not very strong. Nothing's really clipping us at all. So hopefully we dodged a bullet there. Because I'll be all right with that. I'll be just fine with that if we dodged a little bullet right there, one across the bow there. All right, let me get this one going too. I want to take a peek at this latest data here. And then we're going to talk about the tornado outbreak that we had today. Remember, I was telling you, we were looking at the maps last night and they were calling for like southwest Minnesota. Well, it happened a little further south. And we got some activity that was very, very disturbing today. All right, as you can see here, impacting Stereo A a little bit more than us per se, but still a slight uptick or impact right around midday between the 3rd and the 4th here. So on the 3rd, midday the 3rd, here's Earth right about there. So midday the 3rd, we should take on just a little bit of energy there. Okay. All right, let's get out of there, back out of that. I think, yeah, we saw that before yesterday. Okay, let's come on over to spaceweather.com. And solar flare and radial blackout. Active sunspot region AR 3654 just produced its strongest eruption yet. An M9.5 class flare, only percentage points away from an X class. All right. So NASA's SDO recorded the extreme ultraviolet flash. You can see how it glitches out their camera a little bit and it gets all grainy. All right. Radiation from the flare ionized the top of Earth's atmosphere. It ionized the top of Earth's atmosphere, causing shortwave radio blackout over much of the Pacific Ocean. It also caused the auroras to absorb too. Okay, or not the auroras, our D layer region. Okay, so the mariners and ham radio operators all have problems. Comet, pan stars, and the interstellar gas cloud. Pretty cool shot right there of pan stars. C2021 streaking through this red nebula right here. Interstellar cloud. I caught comet pan stars passing in front of emission nebula C13. Well, okay. The red color, you can read all that. All right, we saw the D region layer. Let's get on over to our Schumann now. And as you can see, that's teasing us like a striptease show. All right, there we go. As you can see, we came out of this event. We were still kind of scraping along right here. Now I believe this is like magma, grinding along the bottom of the surface, the underside of the crust, causing disharmonic frequency possibly. Not quite sure, but sure seems to be that way every time we have this indicator. So here we have lava has pushed up to the surface and is grinding on the underside of the crust. It's looking for a weak spot to penetrate, and it found a weak spot. And it released a huge, huge explosion out of the volcano yesterday. And wait until you see what it did today. All right. But in the meantime, we've had the two volcanic explosions now. So we had a release of pressure. See how we were grinding all the way through this, even up in here. All right. This is still grinding. It's just not as intense at these frequencies. Then it lets up and we go back to a little normalcy right here. A little bit of grinding and back to normalcy a little bit. And at the current moment, we got some good continuity there. So a little break from all the intense frequencies that come with all this. Also, indicator of pressure. We had a big pressure buildup. We had a big pressure buildup of magma at the bottom of the crust. We had a big release of pressure, and now we're back to normal a little bit, okay? Let's come on over here to the null school and get this going, all right? We don't need the polar vortex. I just want the our jet streams really quick. Okay, this is your upper jet right now coming out of the Pacific Northwest going across and up. We also have our southern fetch going across Baja, Mexico, and out into the Gulf. All right, that's your upper jet. There's your lower jet stream. Okay, and you can see how it's bringing low pressures, cold air come down from here. They mix with this moisture from down here, and we've been getting storms in the Midwest here. Currently there's our next setup right there. Current setup already undergoing right now. And this effect right here is going to cause something wonky. We saw quite some weird weather today. All right, we'll get into that. That's the anti-cyclonic weather that we saw today, which is very, very disturbing. All right, let's get on over to our sandstorm here. Do a quickie on this. Oh, dear God. Have mercy on them. All right. Big, big, huge plume of sand blowing out into the Atlantic Ocean there. We still have one going on here in Saudi Arabia. Let's just get a little closer for you. Up in this region, we have one coming into India up here. Well, that's actually India's more right here. So very tip of India right up there. They've got something going. There's also Gobi Desert sandstorm still going. And we have, Caspian Sea sandstorms still kind of, they're all contributing. They're just spreading it all over the place. Okay. I want to try one other thing here. Is it? No. 2.5. Here we go. This kind of gives it a little more effect. There's particles that are 10 nanometers and bigger, which would be granules of sand. And look at here how it's blowing out even over into the ocean and stuff here too. So the red just kind of shows up better on the camera than that other yellow on green does. All right, so a lot of sandstorm going on right now. And then I also want to bring us over here to our SSTA, surface temperature anomalies. Okay, still this big hot spot off the off of the coast of Japan here. And if this is like an underwater vent, which probably it is, that's producing such a intense pool of hot water, it's probably an underwater vent, which is venting pressure in that region, keeping them from having a 9.3 megaquake. Over here, in between, we always come check this area in between Taiwan and China. Very has gone down in temperature. It's a lot well, a lot quieter in that region than it was before. All right, we have seen some quake air, activity in that region that has reduced some of that pressure. As we continue over here, oh, I want to go this way. Sorry. Oh, good. Look at this growing out in here now. This is where we were mainly concerned with Tamumasi growing right here. But now we seem to have another region out in here growing. Now that's off the Pacific coast right here, just above Hawaii. So basically, you make a triangle over to the Bay Area. Whoops. Well, maybe what's this Crescent City up here, the very point on top of California. Go straight out from there, and there's your hot spot. And that wasn't there just a couple of days ago. It was just this region here. So it's spreading. Okay, let's move on. I want to get to the SO2. Take a little peek around, see what's going on here. Okay, here's America. Country divided. Still bleeding out on that side. Clearing up over on the west side. Okay, and then we're going to come on over to China and see what they would like during their daytime. There it goes. Whoops. Stay right there. Boom. There. Okay, so they're still having major pressure in their region. Okay, it swells and ebbs with the sun. So there's current conditions right now. It's ebbed, but just hours ago, 8 hours ago, they had a lot of pressure in that region. Okay, we come down to Java, and you can see that this region has been our relief valve, relieving a lot of gas, a lot of pressure in that region. So what's going to end up happening is they get and build up a pressure here. They're going to have a catastrophic earthquake or some kind of, well, I would say like a fissure open up, possibly some kind of ground deformation, a rip or something like that, where they could possibly see a new fault just unzip and let a bunch of pressure out all at once. I could see maybe like a mountainside blowing out and just flames popping out of the mountain and becoming a new volcano, possibly. No telling what's going to happen here. We were just experiencing new stuff every day. All right, let me get back to our daytime right here. And here we have pressure built up at our fulcrum point. Other ones they're there. They're not so defined, but they're still there. This little area is going to be part of the report, I guess, because it's popped up and it gets dark along with these. So look down the coast of Chile. It's really kind of, look at this. It used to be really bad. It was all purple all the way down. Now it's just this one little segment right here in the middle. See that? See how all this region is cleared up? Not cleared up, but it's not dark purple like it usually is. Same with this region between our fulcrum point and here. This is lightened up a tad bit. Okay, so we still have pressure down below, pushing gas out. We did see a relief in pressure, like I showed you on the Schumann. So let's come on over here to our new quake down here at Antarctica. Let's just look at this. This is a surface quake on a plate boundary, relieving pressure at 5 magnitude. Perfect. That's what it's supposed to do. All right, let's hop on into our regular report now. Okay, so last night, right after I finished the show, we finally had our deep earthquake in this region, and it was right here, and we had a 5.4 down at 507. Okay, most of our deep quakes are mid-range 4. Now we have a whole magnitude higher, a mid-range 5. So a mid-range 5 down deep is going to cause 6 at the surface, or possibly higher. So let's get this. This is a 4.5 down at 177. That's not on the boundary, so that's its own quake down at 177. Very quiet through the opening part of the system, even up to the island. We come over here. We have a 4.7 down at 121. Up here we have our 5.3 at 17, almost the surface there. Just off our weak spot is a 4.4 there. Notice Taiwan got quiet. We saw the reduction in pressure. Now there's a reduction in quake activity. Over here we have a 4.0 down at 394. So that's a semi-deep quake right here, and it's not on a plate boundary, so it's its own little individual quake here. I don't think we'll see anything at the surface from this deep quake. This is all quiet. We have volcanic activity going off in the Kamchatka that's relieving pressure. We also have right here 3.6. Not much making it over. Right here at our fulcrum's point at the Juan de Fuca. Sorry. Here we go. 2.6 here at Petrolia. All right, so not much going on here. 2.5 Prattville, Pyramid Lake, 2.5. Just little stuff going down through there. Now, remember we were talking about this point off of the tip of California right here? See this line that's already on the ocean floor pointing out to our new hotspot that was out in this region right here. Okay. So hopefully nothing comes unzipped right there. I make a new fault line. All right, let's come into Hawaii here. It's kind of calming down. Some 3s still popping off there, though. What I want to do is do all magnitudes real quick. Take it away now. Take it away now. All right, so we're still seeing a little flurry of quakes here, a little swarm going on. So they're still venting pressure, which is good. As long as there's no big eruption right there, that's a good way of venting the pressure underneath, is little small quake swarms. You can see there's a big flurry of small quakes up here in Alaska, but they're all really small. I also want to come in here and just take a peek at the geysers, make sure that they're geysing. The geysers are geysing and they're venting pressure in that area. Okay, good. Meanwhile, just pretty much basic activity for California. I'll take a look over here. That's up in Oklahoma. Nothing here by the New Madrid. This still, though, over here by New Jersey, still can have a quake. That means it's still a weak spot right there. It's still a little tiny pinhole in the skin of the balloon. What we got out here? 5.1 here in Barbados. All right, now we're seeing some bigger activity out here in this region. Our 5 at the surface energy right there, as well as down here we had this 5 at the surface. This is 5.6 at the surface. Then we come into South America. These are usually deeper, so we got a 4 there, 4.5. There's a 5.0, and 102 is almost the surface for this region. So that's some of your energy being vented, your 5 energy being vented there, there, up here. This is a 4.8, almost a 5 right there as well. Okay, so we've seen a little uptick. This whole region really quiet right now. But up here, fulcrum point up top of India here is a 4.3 in Tajikistan, but that's a surface quake. Now let's get over here. Oh boy. 4.4 here in Croatia. I just got to make sure this is not a volcanic surface feature. Nope. Okay, good. All right, so it's venting energy at the surface right here, 4.4, which is good. We'll take any kind of energy we can get, as long as it's not a big 6 or 7 destructive quake. So there's your earthquake report for right now. Now for the volcano report. I'm going to have to clear out some of these here. And let me try to get the volcano report going here. Okay, so wrong, however we want to pronounce it, wrong or Ruang, however, is our big time player today. It went big time today, and let's show you. So already into May 1st, Luatobi, 6,000 feet. Raung, 8,000 feet. That was just, no. Right here. Flight level, 63,000 feet. I repeat, yesterday's was 41. Today's is 63,000 feet. That is a huge blast out of Wrong, or however you want to pronounce it, Ruang. So, and then it had a multitude, or another one that rose up to 8,000 feet. Okay. Fuego, 16,000. Nevada del Ruiz, it's on there, just no elevation. Sangay, 21,000. Reventador, 15,000. Sabancaya, 22,000. All right, that was just the first. Just a few hours that we've been into the first. Now let's go cover what happened today. Luatobi, 7,000 feet. Semaru had one to 14,000. That's our good blast out of Semaru we see every day. Here we are. Ruang, wrong, 63,000 foot blast. The pyroxysm episode was of such intensity that a ballistic radius of thrown lava bombs targeted residences at distances ranging from 3.8 to 4.8 kilometers from the summit. They were getting hit with these huge lava bombs way far away from that explosion because of the pressure. It was just huge. After more than 12 days since the last paroxysm episode, the volcano showed another very dramatic activity last night. Volcanian type explosion occurred from the summit, generating a gray ash plume. All right, moving on. Popo, 18,000 feet. Fuego, 15,000 feet. Poas, 10,000 feet. Sangay, 18,000. Reventador, 15,000. Sabancaya, 22. All right. I want you to think about something here. All of these elevations, 22,000, add these up. Add 22,000 plus 15,000 plus 18,000 plus 10,000 plus 15,000 plus 18,000. Add all these up. That's a lot of thousands. Okay. Now, top it off with 63,000. That's a lot of pressure that was built up that got released, and now we're seeing, a little relief in our activity. Or not a relief, but at least we saw relief on the Schumann there. Okay. So all of these blasts that we usually, go through every night, they sound ordinary, but they're not. 18,000 feet is, I mean, it's ordinary now, but it used to be huge. So, like I said, add all these up and you'll get a huge number. And then think about that number and the pressure that it took to produce all these blasts. And the last two that just came out of Ruang here, or wrong, uh, 41,000 and 63. So there's 100,000 right there just in two blasts. So very, very intense volcanic activity going on. And each one of these continues as if we didn't have enough ash in the air yesterday or the day before that or the day before that. Each day we continue to get more and more ash particles in the air. Which also results as more moisture content in the air. The air can hold more water. There's more particulates for the water vapor to cling to, for condensation to perform. It needs something to cling to. So once there's a dust particle, ash particle, any kind of particle, water droplet will adhere to it and form a raindrop. Now we've just loaded the sky with potential raindrops with all these particulates that we're putting up there, or that not we're putting up there, that are coming out of our volcanoes. Okay. Now let's get into something here that happened today that's very very important we understand and grasp what happened here. All right, so last night we were reporting our possibility for severe weather in the corner of Minnesota, right? Well, the models and the maps were all wrong. It happened down in this region today. And we had a storm today that converged. And what happened here, very, very, very rare. Let me see if I can get this to play again, please. I had this pulled up for a reason. All right. Any of you that storm chase or know what a velocity couplet is, it's a couplet that we look for that tells you you're about to have a tornado. These are winds that are going towards the radar. These are winds that are going away from the radar. Okay, well, these colors denote the directions and the intensity of the wind. So when you have wind going really fast that way and wind going really fast the other way, your tornado whips up in the middle. Okay. For those of you who have seen some of these couplets, this is probably one of the most intense couplets I have ever seen, that this gentleman, Nate Schneider, has ever seen. Nate has been a storm chaser on YouTube forever. Not many people know about him, but he was like one of the first. Okay. He's been around for a long time. He's a smart weather guy. And his evaluation of this storm is very good. You should come over here. Maybe I'll even put the link in the description afterwards. But it's N8, as in Nate Snyder. Okay, come over here, give him a thumbs up. It was during his broadcast today. I got to use this symbol or this map here because I don't have this radar app. But what happened during this event? Okay, so what I need to do is I'm going to back up here a little bit. I don't really want to play his live stream so much. I want you to kind of go over there and watch it and watch his breakdown of it, because he reported on it live as it happened. And then everybody was just in shock at what we saw. So he kind of stopped reporting on, chasing tornadoes and critiqued this storm. Are we at this one segment? I need this one frame here, because it starts off as two tornadoes, all right? Two independent tornadoes. I think it's right about here. During the day. Yeah, it's right around here, just outside of Hollister. Okay, we have two tornadoes right around this time frame that form together, or not form, but that form separate. Here's one right here. Okay, you can see our little notch or little. You can see inbound winds right here. Here's our velocity couplet right there. So there's a tornado right there. And then across the way from it is another tornado. So there's two tornadoes on the ground at the same time. I'm trying to get to this framework showing this stuff. And for the love of God, please, can we just get this thing to, why can't it just jump? It was working fine earlier. So as we get into this, so all right, let me freeze frame right here. So at this point, we have two tornadoes, one here and one here. Well, also, you can see that we have a bigger velocity couplet that's growing. These two. So we have a tornado here and a tornado here. These two tornadoes, these are two independent storms that merge with each other while having tornadoes, independent tornadoes of their own. This is not like one cell that's having two tornadoes. This is two independent storms that are producing tornadoes at the same time that collide together while having tornadoes and form one big, huge velocity couplet that just is so big and so intense. And where's the little critique part I want to find here? All right, because what this thing produced was anti-cyclonic activity, where we have backward tornadoes that spin off of the rotation. The rotation of velocity of this huge tornado was so much and so big. Where is this segment? I had it all pulled up aside and everything. Where'd it go? Okay, it's right before that discussion. It's right near. We can just get this to, I want to get these radar signatures. So we had one here. All right, so our big couplet had formed, and as it's spinning, a backward spinning tornado formed on this side, because all this is spinning counterclockwise. So anything outside of it wants to rotate the opposite way. So we had a backward spinning or anticyclonic tornado on this side. Then all of a sudden we had another one over on this side. And this is a backward spinning anticyclonic tornado. It just means it's going the wrong direction. We had two of them, one on this side and one on this side of this huge tornado. All right, this thing was so big. If you guys know what a CC drop is, correlation coefficient drop, where'd it go? This one actually formed a round or a circular ring-shaped coefficient. First, here's the main one. All right, this is a debris ball that's in the air. This is bigger than, rain droplet particles. That's what the radar is indicating, is anything that's over a certain diameter, it must be debris in the air. So at this point, we have one tornado creating one big debris ball. Then, if we get right, here, I'm just going to play this. So this couplet comes together. As it comes together, you'll see the anticyclonic activity back here. This right here is a backwards tornado. Okay, because the rotation of this is so intense that the air out here can't keep up. It starts to spin the opposite way. So we got a big tornado and a backwards tornado at the same time. Then after this, just moments later, it intensifies, and we get, come here. I wish it just a little smoother. And I hate using other people's streams. I wish I had this app so I could just show you the entire sequence. Oh, where'd it go? All right. Here he's talking about this debris ball, and then it actually largens out and turns into a donut-shaped debris ball. Where is it? Right here, I think. Oh, I hate doing this. But it's for learning purposes. All right. So what happened here is we had a debris ball that was debris on the outside and then got quiet in the center. We had a tornado with an eye in it, like a hurricane. The center of the tornado was so powerful and so big that the center of it cleared out, and there was no activity in the middle of it, and just raging all around the edges, and then total quiet in the middle. There was an eye in this tornado. It was so big and so intense that it the first tornado I've ever seen with an eye in it. It's unbelievable. Now this, on the Fujita scale would have been, F6 or something, but they do that by how much destruction. Like, say, if it tore up a town, it could be a small diameter tornado, but if it leveled the entire town, well, they consider that an F5 because of the damage, the sheer damage it does. Now, what I want to try to show you on this, oh, come on. All right, maybe we can just do this, possibly. Oh, so frustrating. I want this image right here, Lord. Just have that one cone image. And why it has to recycle every single time? All right, right here. This radar image right here. You think you're looking at a tornado, right? Coming down. This is the sky up above. This is the ground down below. And this would be what would be the tornado. But that's not the tornado. Everything around this is the tornado, okay? This is the hollow center of it. Okay, this tornado was so big that the eye of the tornado, the center column, where there was no disturbances or anything right here, actually showed up on this graph. Unbelievable. He's in shock too. I'm in shock too. Everybody's just looking at this going, is this an indicator of things to come? Because if it is, it's scary. This tornado was so powerful and so big that it hollowed out an inter area where there was no activity, all right? And that's what this shows. All of this empty area right here is all tornado, all right? This is all stuff that's taken up by the tornado. This is detecting the empty spots. And here's this big empty spot right here coming out of the clouds. So that tornado had an eye in it, and not just an eye up at the very top, an eye that ran all the way down to the ground. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And where is this? I want this coefficient signature here. Help me, Lord. Where was it? I want the donut-shaped coefficient one, please. You guys should come over here and watch this whole report. This is historic what just happened here. And this was just a few hours ago, okay? Everybody was out storm chasing during the day and stuff today. But this was at night. And this happened just a few hours ago. And it's just a huge storm. It's got to be right around here somewhere. Well, there's a coefficient one that's all blue, except for the center. The center nice and quiet, and all the rest of the coefficient drop is all blue, indicating a very defined eye in this tornado. Where is it? Right there. There it is, maybe. Anyways, come over here. I hate to have to use his stuff, but he did a really good job on covering it today and then analyzing it. And I can't wait for him to do a wrap up on what happened there. He was like one of the only people that were up and monitoring this when it happened. So that's why I got to kind of use him. But these two tornadoes, these two separate storm fronts came together and created one big, huge, massive wedge tornado with an eye in it, and it was so powerful that it spun off backward tornadoes here and backward tornadoes down here. There were two anti-cyclonic or backward tornadoes produced from the sheer power of these two storms colliding into one big huge couplet. Unbelievable. It's a good example of what Mother Nature can truly do here. And then where's he comparing these? Right here. All right, this is the part I'm going to let the volume off, and I want you to hear this part as he describes this. Forgive me, Nate, for using your stuff. Please go over there and give him love. But this is important. I don't make money off of this.
What?
All right.
126 on 101. That's a 227 mile per hour delta velocity. A delta velocity of 198 knots. A VROD of 99.1 knots. A CROD of 104.4 knots. That is absurdly strong.
The delta velocity, the winds going this way, plus the winds that are going this way, you add those two together because that's the winds you're going to get at the center. At one point, this massive tornado had winds of 249 miles an hour. 249 miles an hour, not one. 249 miles an hour. This thing was off the charts. It's a brand new scale of tornado. It won't register on the Fujita scale because it was over an open field. It didn't tear up a town. Thankfully, it didn't tear up a town. But this huge mesoscale, two mesos colliding, forming a gigantic tornado that spins off anti-cyclonic tornadoes. We are talking a whole new level of weather now, okay, you guys? And that was during today. It was supposed to be up here. That happened down in here. We weren't forecasting for that. For the brand new record was not even seen coming. Well, I kind of helped you guys say, hey, watch out tomorrow. This could be a little bit different than we think. That's why this part becomes important. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play this. There's your current conditions going into the next couple of days here. I'll leave that there. Look at your timestamps and everything. I got to take a sip. Now, that's why I'm telling you guys it's important to learn the weather, learn how to study it, what the effects are, learn how to get outside and read your skies, because these people could have easily looked out the window and saw this big black wall of clouds moving towards them and would have known, hey, the tornado threat's in our area, not up in Minnesota today. All right. So going back through this, yeah, really, if you want to know more, go back over to Nate's channel and watch that little segment that I was showing you, how he went through that and dissected that. It's, excuse me. It'll go down in the textbooks as one of a new kind of learning of how storms work. All right, so here's our current conditions still down in here, a little scattered up in Minnesota. That's tomorrow morning, noon, convection. Look, we're starting to have convection. And then another nocturnal event, you guys. This time they're calling for this region around Missouri, okay? And it's not necessarily going to be right there. All right, all these storm chasers today are sitting there scratching their heads going, oh my gosh, are we really going to see this again tomorrow too? And here we go again. The low pressure is way down south. These things keep dropping down and then driving up this way. So here we got one that's way down south again. It's pulling moisture up. It's got this cold air. See this cold air back here already behind it that's coming down? Not a good setup. Okay, this is nocturnal in the nighttime tomorrow night as we go into the morning hours, possibly down here in Texas, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, up here as well. You guys, this whole blob anywhere in there now. Okay, when these air masses collide, you'll see a boundary form. And when these boundaries form, look for like air that's coming up with air that's coming this way and where they collide. And the two areas where they collide and it starts to blossom, that's where you're going to have your biggest storms, is where the blossom where they two intersect. So there's your morning of the second, noontime. Now, this seems to be kind of dragging up this way, trying to make its comma shape and get a tail going here down in Louisiana. Watch out during noon on the second. There's convection. The nighttime, morning of the third, noon, convection, nighttime. Again, with the nocturnal blossoming again here in Kansas, Texas. See these spotty ones? These are the dangerous ones because it could be shifted this way a little bit and end up in Missouri, or it could be back a little bit and wind up in Colorado. But maybe it was just a tad north than what we thought, and it was in Nebraska. So these positions don't really, they don't matter as much. They do matter, but it's like they're not set in stone, is what I'm trying to say. It could just blossom right behind it, right in front of it, above it, below it. It depends on the colliding of the air masses at the timing. That's why it's important to just kind of monitor your weather now, especially as it's coming into your region. That'll be the nocturnal event of the third right there. Going into the morning hours, all right? Morning hours, we're going to see severe weather on the coast of California. You got a big storm coming into the West Coast, too. So there's the morning of the 4th, noon, convection, nighttime convection again back here in Texas on the 4th, morning of the 5th, again with morning activity, severe too. It's in red, all right? So everybody pray for these people. They have already had enough, and it just continues. So that'll be the morning of the 5th, noon, convection, nighttime, small chances right there, but still there. Morning of the 6th, noon, convection, nighttime. Look at this. Up here in South Dakota, Nebraska again. Another nocturnal event, even up here in Canada. Okay, don't let that slip by if you're up in that region. This will be the morning. So here we go with the nocturnal, blossoming at sundown, blossoming through the nighttime, staying active in the morning, dissipating by noon. There's what's supposed to be convection, but there's the nighttime where we see these little pop-ups right back in here. Remember, this is all one big storm. This is a tail. It's just broken off is all. But look at how it fires up the next morning when the sun hits it. So there's the morning of the 8th, noon, convection. Here we go with this comma shape again. Nighttime, another nighttime event, now back towards Tennessee, even up into here. That's a little ways away, but that's a possibility for around the 8th. That'll be the morning of the 9th, noon, convection. The nighttime, morning of the 10th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 11th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 12th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 13th, noon, convection, nighttime. Look at that. Another nighttime blossoming thing. That would be the morning of the 13th, noon, convection. Or no, sorry, that was convection. And then blossoming at nighttime. So our convection is actually happening at night. We're having these, they're non-solar induced thunderstorms. They're not induced by the sun. They're two air masses colliding instead of the sun boiling up a thunderhead during. Well, that process is going on during the day, but then we are also seeing nighttime convection where two air masses are colliding. And we're seeing stronger tornadoes out of these nighttime air mass collision storms than we do with our regular thermodynamic thunderheads. Morning of the 15th, noon, convection, nighttime, 16, noon, convection, and that was it. So I'm going to play that loop again. That right there is our next concern. Well, all of these, and especially when we have energy coming from the sun and intermingling with these storms producing bombogenesis, which drops the lowness of the low pressure, and then that low gets deeper, which makes the storm stronger. So the deeper the low gets in millibars, we get down to 976 and 960s and stuff like that. It's getting super low, and that's creating very unstable air and these thunderstorms, these massive storms that we're also getting nighttime convection, air mass collision storms. We just had a quake right there. Well, 4.9 at the surface. Call that a 5 right there. Venting energy right here. That just happened. All right. Back to where we were, though. Forecast models. All right. So this next round is going to be really dangerous. And even though it's showing one spot, like we were predicting, everybody thought it was going to be here in Minnesota today. Like I said, it happened down here. So it shifts. These storm fronts are huge. And if they shift by just a little degree themselves, well, that's hundreds of miles difference on a map. So that's why it's important we follow these storms, because if they come in just like this, well, that's where you're going to see it. But if it came in just a tad bit like that, it's going to shift everything further. If it came in more like this, it's going to shift stuff even further south. So it all just depends on the way these things enter, their angle of attack, their timing as well. And these air mass collision storms at night that are producing very, very, very violent storms with couplets that we don't see in the daytime. I mean, that is a nasty, nasty velocity couplet. And this whole thing turned into one couplet. This was a tornado, and this was a tornado. And this storm caught up to this storm, and this one joined in with this, and they made their own velocity couplet with anti-cyclonic backward spinning tornadoes on either side. Just an awesome display of Father Nature. Come over here. Watch his dissection of it. You'll love it. Anyways, very nasty weather. Everybody pay attention. And, when you turn your back on Israel, you can expect some nasty weather. If you read the Bible, if anybody ever bothered to read the instructions, no, I can put this model together without the instructions. Okay. Might want to read the instructions, because when you go and you do that, you create problems for yourself, right? And now we're seeing intense weather, as well as it being springtime. Okay, we are in transition right now, but these powerful lows that just bombing out like this is not normal. All right, activity like this at night, that's not normal. Producing anti-cyclonic 2 backward spinning tornadoes on either side, that's not normal. That's historic, is what it is. A historic event just happened about 5 hours ago. All right. So this is fresh. This just happened a little while ago. Okay, now we need to move on past that and get into our spiritual report. All right. And that was not pretty cool. I want you guys to go over to the world of signs there and give them some love too. I wish I had all day to put together beautiful clips and add synchronized music to it. That was my calling, kind of synchronizing these clips to music like she does here. So come on over there, give them a thumbs up, subscribe to them because they help this show. Even if I get a strike from them, at least they let me use their video. Okay. Anyway, we need to get on to the spiritual report now, and I need to get the speaker's been ringing in my ear here. We'll leave that image up for a second. I'm going to leave that velocity couplet there. It's important you guys understand how a velocity couplet works too, because it's important information in, detecting a tornado, where it is, what its path is, and its strength, and it's also its integrity. If you see a big powerful signature like that, you're looking at a storm that's going to last a little while. It's going to have some spin-offs and side effects. So important that you learn to study the weather, understand how convection works, and hey, caramba. Okay, always this one. Sorry, pulling up images to read to. You must understand how important that last one was. It is 2,000-year-old prophecy come true. What do you call a prophecy that comes true? It's a miracle. When you see something that was written in the Bible and then it comes true, that is a miracle, right? That would be kind of the definition of a miracle. Something in the Bible coming to pass. Nope, I wanted the theater mode, but I don't want this. There we go. Okay. Then we have other activity going on. We have object that's been out by the moon. People have been videotaping it. This gentleman went and purchased a better camera just to capture it and was probably pretty stunned at what he saw up there. And I'm sure that if this information got out too, that the rest of the world would be pretty stunned about this too. Anyway, so we got these pulled up. What else? We'll do another one. Oh, take that one out and put up this one.
All right. Fucking shit, guys.
Sorry about the profanity, but we're gonna do it. Not subliminal messages, but electromagnetic voice print attached to this video as well. We're not going to go into that. We've already deciphered the message. I just want to play this real quick. Jesus Christ is close.
Oh, holy fucking shit, guys.
He is the wolf. The word.
Oh no. Holy fucking shit.
It's funny people's responses.
I'm gonna get videos because about to rain now. Holy fuck.
No, I don't know.
Alrighty. So, there we go. We got that, and we got this. Alright, so Jesus in the flesh. Right now, here. And we're going to do a little bit of reading here. Let me get my light shut up. Everybody, get in your places, do your thing. All curled up, get comfortable. Take a few deep breaths. Everything that we just looked at was very disturbing, and it's all part of the process. And now it's time that you relax. Understand, we're just going through the process here, okay? It's all okay. Kind of like the script of a movie. We're in the final act now, right? We've seen this movie before. We know how it ends. It's like a Hollywood movie that ends with the big dramatic explosions at the end and stuff, right? So, as we're audience members, kind of, in this movie, the world stage, okay? And as an audience member, looking at what's going around on the world can be, can be a little unnerving and disturbing, and I know that, and I can understand. I can relate. I've had this stuff happening to me. This is even more, so I can relate. So when you're looking at that right there, actually, looking at this one right here, that's out by the moon. It's not in the clouds, okay? And it's my face. It's not a rock. It's a face out there, okay? Take time to be still in my presence. The more hassled you feel, the more you need this sacred space of communion with me. Because right now we're communing, aren't we? So take time to be still in my presence. The more hassled you feel, the more you need this sacred space of communion with me. So take a deep breath in. Breathe slowly and deeply. Relax in my holy presence while my face shines upon you. This is how you receive my peace, which I always offer up to you. Okay? This is how you receive my peace. How do you receive my peace? By breathing slowly and deeply and relaxing in my holy presence while my face shines upon you. Imagine the pain I feel when my children tie themselves up in anxious knots, ignoring my gift of peace. I died a criminal's death to secure this blessing for you. So receive it gratefully, hide it in your heart, and my peace is an inner treasure that's growing within you as you trust in me. Okay? My peace is growing within you as you trust in me. Therefore, circumstances cannot touch it. So be still. Enjoy my peace. Be still, enjoying my peace in my presence. Yeah, and exhale. Oh, yeah. Everything's going to be okay. Try to stay conscious of me as you go step by step through each day. My presence with you is both a promise and protection. Okay? My presence is a promise and protection. My final statement just before I ascended into heaven was, surely I am with you always. And that promise was for all of my followers without exception. The promise of my presence is a powerful protection. So as you journey through your life, there are numerous pitfalls along the way. Many voices clamor for your attention, enticing you to go their way. But a few steps away from your path are pits of self-pity and despair, plateaus of pride and self-will. So if you take your eyes off of me and follow someone else's ways, you're in grave danger. Even well-meaning friends can lead you astray if you let them usurp my place in your life. Okay? So even the best of friends can lead you astray if you let them usurp my place in your life. The way to stay on the path of life is to keep your focus on me. Awareness of my presence is your best protection. Okay? Feeling anxiety, you want protection? My presence is your best protection. So look to me continually for help, comfort, and companionship with that protection. Because I am always by your side, the briefest glance can connect you with me. When you look to me for help, it flows freely from my presence. This recognition of your need for me, in small matters as well as large ones, keeps you spiritually alive. What keeps you spiritually alive? The recognition you need me, small and large matters. So when you need comfort, I love to enfold you in my arms. I enable you not only to feel comforted, but also to be a channel through whom I comfort others. Ooh, not only are you comforted, but you're a channel through whom I comfort others. Thus, you are doubly blessed because a living channel absorbs some of whatever flows through it, right? So you're doubly blessed. Understand how that works? I enable you not only to feel comforted, but to also be a channel through whom I comfort others. So you're comforting others through me. Thus, you are doubly blessed because you're the channel which absorbs some of whatever is flowing through it. So, my constant companionship is the piece de la resistance, the summit of salvation blessings. No matter what losses you experience in your life, no one can take away this glorious gift or this glorious gift. No one can take away these glorious gifts from you. They just can't. You've got them now. You see them. Stamped in your brain. No one can take that away from you now. I had the other one. Okay, so go gently through each day, keeping your eyes on me. I will open up the way before you, and as you take steps of trust along your path, sometimes the way before you appears to be blocked, but if you focus on the obstacle or search for a way around it, you will probably go off course. Instead, focus on me, the shepherd who is leading you along your life journey, and before you know it, the obstacle will be behind you, and you will hardly know how you passed through it. Okay? We didn't avoid the obstacle. We didn't go over it. We didn't go around it. You and I together passed through it. That is the secret of success in my kingdom. Although you remain aware of the visible world around you, your primary awareness is of me. So when the road before you looks rocky and bumpy, you can trust me to get you through the rough patch. My presence enables you to face each day with confidence, doesn't it? Good. Then it's working. If it doesn't, then you need to trust me more then, okay? Go gently through each day, keeping your eyes on me, and I'll open up the way before you. I am your living God, far more abundantly alive than the most vivacious person you know. The human body is wonderfully crafted, but gravity and the inevitable effects of aging weigh it down. Even the most superb athlete cannot maintain his fitness over many decades. Lasting, abundant life can be found in me alone. Do not be anxious about the weakness of your body. Instead, view it as the prelude to my infusion energy into your being. Okay, so don't be anxious about the weakness of your body. It's a prelude to my infusing energy into you. So as you identify more and more fully with me, my life becomes increasingly intertwined with yours. Find that happening? Are our lives increasingly getting intertwined? Because if they are, that's good. Those who live close to me develop an inner aliveness that makes them seem youthful in spite of their years. Let my life shine through you as you walk in the light with me. As you identify more and more fully with me, my life becomes increasingly intertwined with yours. Through the process, though the process of aging continues, inwardly you grow stronger with the passing years. So, as you identify more and more fully with me, inwardly you grow stronger with the passing years. And those who live close to me develop an inner aliveness that makes them seem youthful in spite of their years. Are you feeling that? Let my life shine through you as you walk in the light with me. Okay, I got a couple other ones and then I'll let you guys go. I've got a couple of stragglers here. Okay. Oh, I should have started with that. All right, well, we're just going to work this anyway. So be careful not to attach your sense of worth to your performance, okay? When you're dissatisfied with something you've said or done, talk to me about it. Ask me to help you sort out what is truly sinful and what is not. Confess any sins that you're aware of and receive my forgiveness gratefully. Then live in the freedom of being beloved and being a beloved believer. Don't let your mistakes and sins diminish your sense of worth. Remember that you have been declared not guilty forever. There is no condemnation for those who are in me, who belong to me, because you are precious to me and I take delight in you. So refuse to condemn yourself. Your imperfect performance reminds you that you are human. It humbles you and helps you identify with the flawed humanity. And since pride is such a deadly sin, the one that ultimately led to Satan's expulsion from heaven, being humbled is really a blessing. So thank me for the circumstances that have diminished your pride and draw nearer to me. Receive my priceless, unfailing love in full measure. Okay? Being humbled is really a blessing. Your imperfect performance reminds you that you're human. Okay? Remind yourself, okay, I'm a human. I'm only human. I'm not perfect. And when you view it that way, it humbles you and it helps you identify with your flaws and the flaws of humanity as well, right? So thank me for the circumstances that have diminished your pride. Okay? Pride's a bad thing sometimes. So thank me for the circumstances that have diminished your pride, which end up drawing you nearer to me, right? So receive my priceless, unfailing love in full measure, which means the circumstances that diminished your pride, you got to love me for doing that. That's the hard part. A troublesome problem can become an idol in your mind. If you consistently think about something, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, if you think about that more than you think about me, you are practicing a subtle form of idolatry. So it's wise to examine your thoughts. Most people view idols as something that brings pleasure, but a chronic difficulty can captivate your mind. Did you hear me? A chronic difficulty can captivate your mind, taking over increasingly more of your mental activity, your mental capacity. Okay? Chronic difficulty can captivate your mind, taking over increasingly more of your mental activity and capacity. Becoming aware of this bondage is a huge, huge step toward breaking free from it. Just recognizing that it's a problem, that you do that, and recognizing that that's a problem, becoming aware that it's a bondage, it's a huge step toward breaking free from it. Okay? You want to break free from it, trust me. So, when you find yourself dwelling on a persistent problem, bring it to me and confess the mental bondage that you experienced. Okay? Mental bondage. Request my help and my forgiveness, which I freely give, and I will help you take captive every thought to make it obedient to me. All right, so I want to stop right there because we had an incident yesterday where a young lady I encountered had some mental illness, and she had what I call situational illness. We were talking about situational awareness. She had a situational illness. It was her circumstances, her situational circumstances caused her mental illness, because when she went and told me what was going on, it was this bondage in her mind. All of her problems, her chronic difficulties captivated her mind, and that increasingly took over her mental activity. She could not perform normal functions that a person can because of the mental bondage in her head. And I tried to help her release that. She wouldn't let me. She fought it tooth and nail. I was trying to help her. Slow down there, sweetie. Let me help you take captive every thought, okay? Because you're thinking on tangents that don't matter. Why you guys go down all these tangents and freak out about stuff that's just not even real or that even matters? And you just put yourself in this mental bondage. So become aware that you do this, that you make yourself mental bondage. And when you become aware of this mental bondage, it's a huge step toward breaking free from it. When you find yourself dwelling on that problem, bring it to me and confess the mental bondage you're experiencing. Okay? When you confess the mental bondage, that means you've recognized it. Request my help and my forgiveness, which I freely give, and I will help you take captive every thought to make it obedient to mine. I am teaching you to fix your thoughts on me more and more. To achieve this goal, you need both discipline and desire. It's a vital part. It's vital that you find pleasure in thinking of me, not work. It should be pleasurable to think about me. Okay? I know it's hard sometimes, but it's vital that you find pleasure in thinking of me, rejoicing in my loving presence, and delight yourself in me. Make me the desire of your heart. When you do that, your life just blossoms. I want to go one more. Do I want to fix thoughts and discipline, or do I want to strengthen and shield? I'm going to strengthen and shield. I am actually your strength and your shield. I continually work, sometimes in wondrous ways, to invigorate and protect you. I'm here to invigorate you as well. Okay? I continually work in wondrous ways to invigorate and protect you. The more fully you trust in me, the more your heart can leap for joy. Don't you want your heart to leap for joy? Aren't you tired of this world and everything, all the stuff that's going on? Don't you want your heart to leap for joy? If you do, the more you fully trust in me, the more your heart can leap for joy. So I want you to trust me wholeheartedly, resting in my sovereign control over the whole universe. Okay? When circumstances seem to be spinning out of control, grab onto me, believing that I know what I'm doing. I orchestrate every event of your life to benefit you. Okay? While you're at the throes of adversity, your greatest challenge is to keep on trusting that I am both sovereign and good. Do not expect to understand my ways, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways and thoughts higher than yours. When you respond to trouble with thanksgiving, convinced, circle that word, underline it, convinced that I can bring good out of it. Okay? You need to be convinced that I can bring good out of the most difficult situations. When you become convinced that I can help you through these difficult situations, it actually pleases me. It pleases you too. This act of faith encourages you and it glorifies me. I rejoice when my struggling children give thanks to me. Just like you parents out there, when your kids really come back with a heartfelt thank you for the dinner, mommy, it was really good, or daddy, the heartfelt thank you. It feels good, huh? Well, as a father, I like the same thing too. Okay? Learn to lean on me more and more. I know the full extent of your weakness, and that is where my powerful presence meets you. Okay? It's in your weakness. My strength and your weakness fit together perfectly into wonderful synergy designed long before your birth. My power is most effective in weakness. This is counterintuitive and mysterious, yet it is true, isn't it? Isn't it? If it is true, then it is counterintuitive and it is mysterious. Must make me kind of mysterious and counterintuitive to what the world says? Think about that for a minute. All right, moving on. It's important to lean on me when you're feeling inadequate or overwhelmed. Remind yourself that you and I together are more than adequate. To sense my nearness, try closing your hand as if you were holding on to mine. For I take hold of your right hand and say to you, do not fear, I will help you. I want you to depend on me, even when you feel competent to handle things yourself. This requires awareness of both my presence and your neediness. I am infinitely wise, so let me guide your thinking as you make plans and decisions. Also, let my spirit guide your thinking as you make plans and decisions. I got two different phrases into one sentence here. So, let my spirit or my guide that's within you guide your thinking and your plans, and then let me guide your thinking as you make plans and decisions. Leaning on me produces warm intimacy with me, the one who will never leave you or forsake you. I think that's it for that session right there, because that goes on a different one. All right, yeah, that was it for that. So, yeah, be aware that a lot of mental illness is caused because of people stressing about their situations. And if they just surrendered, it's real and it's kind of easy. Just surrender. Quit trying to control everything. Quit focusing and dwelling on all the negative stuff in your life. When you're freed up from all that guilt, you're actually living now abundantly. You're not sitting there tripping about the future and tomorrow or what you saw on the news. Despite whatever it is, does not change this. This is the foundation. No matter what happens, does not change this. Does not change who you are. You are a child of God. You're a divine entity. You're not just a bunch of chemicals and synapses firing in your head. You know, you have a consciousness. You're a spiritual entity having a human experience. You're a spiritual creature having a human experience, all right? So it's good that you look at things from that perspective. It'll help you keep your wits about you in times of difficulty, okay? The times of difficulty are actually trials. They're tests. You know, everybody thinks a tribulation's about to start here soon. Please, you have been in tribulation your whole life. You didn't know it, but you have been in tribulation your entire life. That's your tribulation right there. Okay? It's not the next 7 years. It's not a set order of time. If you're a Christian, you've been called. Your whole life was tribulation, and then you're going to move on to a higher realm. Other people will then go through their tribulation. Okay, so believers, your tribulation has been your life. For non-believers, they're going to have a life's worth of tribulation condensed down into 7 years. And that's gonna suck. That's going to be so hard and so gnarly for them, especially when they don't have this as their foundation. Can you see how hard it's going to be for people who don't have this as their foundation? That's why it's important that you guys help me share this, okay? It blesses the person that you share it with, obviously, but what you don't know is that it blesses you. It really blesses you when you share this information. Okay? It's a gift. I give freely because of my nature, because of who I am. Okay? I could be making millions and millions of dollars off of this real info. Right? But I choose not to. This is not supposed to be made money off of. This is free information for the world. It's the most important information we've had in the last 2,000 years. That's why I keep showing this image right here. You guys just don't understand. Some of you understand. Some of you do understand. That's good. But the world needs to understand that what you're looking at is the real deal. And what you're hearing is the real deal. It has been for a while. This happened back in 2020. And we're in 2024, I believe, right? So we are deep in the game. If you've been paying attention to my story, as I've been telling you guys, this all started happening to me on September 10th of 2017. So if you add 7 years to September 10th of 2017, that would make it about September 10th or September 11th of 2024. Now, wouldn't it? That would be a full 7 years for me that I've been in this state of agony, spiritual affliction, just the whole gambit. But it's actually a blessing. I hit the lottery. Even though it's excruciatingly painful and no one believes me, I hit the lottery. I really did. And the spiritual lottery. And it's worth way more than gold or silver. This knowledge that you have is priceless. And the reports that I give you are, it's like $1 million college education for free. And look at your colleges. You got all these kids that are, I don't want to go there. But parents are paying exorbitant tuitions for what? For what kind of education? When they could have gotten the best education for free. Because I love you guys. I miss you guys. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. You should be able to tell. I love you. Bye.